Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles, they say, happen now and then. Hello. Welcome to my humble abode. Of course, I'm Christopher Kay, and you know me on the streets of Carson City as the traveling troubadour. I know what you're thinking. Is this guy destitute? Is he homeless? Why is he out there performing? I'm out there because that's where I want to be. That's my stage. It's wonderful. I'd like to invite you, as we prove once and for all, I'm not homeless, but rather I have one of the neatest home studios you'll ever see. Well, it all starts right here at the bottom of the stairs with the Wall of Fame, memorabilia that backs up what I've been doing for nearly 50 years in the entertainment industry. First of all, let me show you a couple articles on what I've done as a TV producer. This one appeared in the Aura Spanish newspaper here in Reno about a spiritual documentary that took me all the way to Central America. Hands for Honduras aired on local community access television in the mid-90s. And here's an article I'm real proud of from the Reno Gazette-Journal that came out October 3rd, 1991, written by Michael Sion, about a late-night TV show I produced called Night Tide Theater on TV 55. Boy, was that a lot of fun. If you're wondering if I've been a street performer before, here's my business license that I had to have in Reno. And of course, I have to have a business license here in Carson to be a street performer, the traveling troubadour. This really didn't work out in Reno for me, but now, here in Carson, I'm coming up on my third season starting April 1st, and I can't wait for that. Well, let's look at some of the bands that I've performed in over the years. Here's probably the best country band I was ever in, called Ambush. We're up here playing for the Rib Cook-Off a few years ago in Sparks. That was an awful lot of fun. The first band I was in where I got probably the most success in music was when I was like in my teens. And this is a band called the Manzanita Jungle. Here's our 45 that we released back then. 45? Yes, vinyl. Yes, we go way back here. Here's some other 45s that I produced way back then, before the advent of even 8-track tapes or cassettes. The old days of recording to 2-track stereo and then mixing down, and away you go. So I've got a long career in music, as you can see right here. Now I want to show you my first guitar. I've got quite a few to show you along the way. But this one is basically what they call a sand guitar. And I got it for free when I bought 10 sets of custom strings at Guitar Center. And this is basically the kind of guitar that you don't care what happens to it. You don't have a case on it. It can go anywhere. Just throw it in the back of the car and you do your thing. It's a sand guitar. This one is called Teddy. Remember that name? We'll talk about it later. Well, let's work our way up here. Continue with the video. And this is when I was a video gypsy on the road. Golly, I went out probably almost 4 years working for Productions East Video and shooting equestrian events all over the East Coast, from Kentucky to upstate New York, all over the East Coast, like almost 7 months out of the year doing that. That was a great way to learn video. Working my way up here again, let's get into the more current things I've done in music. All on compact disc, all available on cdbaby.com. Here's the first CD called 1+1. Here's the second one called More Than Two. All available on iTunes and CD Baby. Two tribute CDs, compilation CDs where I work with other artists, Tribute and Tribute Second Coming. Here's another fun thing I did along the way I wanted to show you. It's called Beefalo. And Beefalo was a walk-around character that appeared at state and county fairs all over America. I did this for over 4 years on the road and just having fun with people. As you can see, it's kind of a role reversal where it looks like the cow is barbecuing me, the chef. So that was an awful lot of fun on the road doing that. Well, I want to bring you to my final CD that I want to share with you. Probably the most popular work I've done so far in music. It's called Americana Man. And the reason why it became such a success was a song called The Kennedy Brothers. And I wrote this actually it was an afterthought for this CD. It was the last song that I recorded on the CD, but it became a huge success behind the scenes, not on the charts. Basically, it was released in 2009, and at the same time when Senator Edward M. Kennedy passed away. So very sad, but sometimes good things can come out of a tragedy. And what happened was I had my Senator Harry Reid get a copy to his family, and that resulted in these 3 letters here that I'm probably the most proud of. Right here at the very top of the stairs, these 3 letters, one from Senator Edward M. Kennedy's family thanking me for the song, another one from Senator Orrin G. Hatch from Utah, who's also a songwriter and a very close friend of Teddy Kennedy's, telling me he knows that Teddy would have loved this song. And finally, from the top, all the way from the White House, a thank you note from the Obamas for this release. So, hey, you can see I've done an awful lot of music, and I want to show you how it all comes together. I want to show you my studio here. So let's do that next. Let me come around the corner here. Let's come on up and I'll show you my studio. You're not going to believe this. I think it's probably one of the neatest home recording studios you'll ever see. Well, here we are outside the studio. Are you ready to go in? Let me go in first and make sure the coast is clear. Okay, guys, come on in. Yes, it's a full-size tent erected right in the middle of the room. Can you believe it? It's for acoustics and for atmosphere. All right. Welcome to my studio. Isn't this cool? All right. Well, first of all, I want to show you my diploma here. Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, Radio and Television Arts. This gives me the right to come in here and record. And let's take a look at my studios first. I got not just one, but 2 to show you. Well, we're going to start with the perimeter first, and then work our way inside the tent. First, let me show you my recording devices here. First of all, this is probably the best home recording equipment ever invented from Roland. They're 8-track, and considered by many engineers the finest way of producing home recordings. As Joe Walsh once said, if you can't get it rock and roll with 8 tracks, it ain't happened properly for you. So, but I found along the way, yeah, rock and roll, great, but if I want to do Americana, I want to do other things where I need more takes, I had to go for a Super 16 track. And that's what this is over here. This is the Korg 3200. Actually, I can record up to 32 devices at one time. And then I'll mix them all down. Up here, of course, my monitor speakers. Great monitor speakers for playback, but to be honest with you, most of the time, I just end up using headphones. They work the best. Over here, my microphones. This one dedicated just to the Roland, and of course, on the 3200 Korg, I got to have a condenser mic, so that's what that's all about. So basically, here's how it works. I'll start with the drum machine and the rhythm guitar tracks and what they call a scratch lead vocal that I can perfect later if I need to. So I've got the lead vocal, the drums, and the rhythm machine, the drum machine and the rhythm guitar. So I build upon that. Then I'll lay in a bass track. I'll lay in all the backup vocals, maybe 2-3-part harmony if I need to. Then I'll add more guitar parts, filler, to make it sound fuller. So I built a rhythm section. I got my vocals, I got my bass, and now I'm going to put a lead guitar in. And then at the very end, when I'm ready, to add the special sweeteners at the end, I come on over here and use this guitar synthesizer. This is the Roland GR20. This dedicated guitar is a Epiphone Les Paul, dedicated just to this guitar synthesizer. Basically, all the sounds you can come up with on a keyboard synthesizer, I can interface with this guitar I call 24 karat K. I mean, we're talking strings, keyboard, orchestral sounds, anything you can come up with on a regular piano synthesizer, organ, it's all there with the Roland GR20 synthesizer, my sweetener that I use. Well, let's continue looking at the perimeter here before we go inside the tent, and I'm going to bring you into my computer world here. It's not what you think, not state of the art, but this is an old 486 that plays these floppy disks. Now remember the Y2K bug? My goal was to write 2,000 songs by the year 2000, and I was pretty darn close, I'll tell you. And I saved them all on these floppy disks, so I have to have this computer to be able to go back and look at a lot of those lyrics that I wrote over the years. Okay, now let's look towards the back here. You're going to see a lot of guitar cases and gig bags for, you're not going to believe the amount of guitars I'm going to show you in just a minute here. And in the very back, a public address system, a PA system. If I really want to fill the whole room with sound, I just pop it through these two PVs. Well, here's my business licenses. Of course, I have to have those in order to perform on the street. And I've been collecting them since 2006 for my record label, Renowned Records. And then in 2010, I started as the traveling troubadour. So one of the stipulations I have to get this business license, no soliciting whatsoever on the streets of Carson City. So you'll never see me with an open guitar case or my hand out for a tip. I'm out there presenting my music for free to the public, and as it should be. Well, are you ready to get down? Let's get down and look at the bottom end. The bass guitars, electric basses that I have in my collection. And I want to start off with this beauty. This is, of course, a Beatle bass, a copy of a bass made famous by Paul McCartney. And I've nicknamed this one Upright McCartney, because it really sounds like an upright bass in many respects. Of course, I gave this my own label on the top after my favorite beer. I call this my session guitar, after the premium dark lager Sessions Black. Next, I played Fenders for so many years on the stage, and it just so big and heavy on my shoulder. I wanted to have a lightweight bass. Check this one out. This, the Longhorn by Dan Electro. This one's nicknamed Aqua Number 9 because it was the 9th bass of its kind ever sold in America. At Thoroughbred Music, I got it in Tampa. Just a great, lightweight, triple octave neck, 4-string bass. Just an amazing instrument. Of course, if I have a bass collection, I've got to have a Fender. And I decided to try something different. Not just a 4-string, but a 5-string Fender. And this is like the Fenders that they came out with in the late 60s, where they started not with the big fat B string, but they emphasize more the high C on the other side. So it starts with a V and works its way up to the high C on the other end. Great instrument, and I've nicknamed this after its pewter gray metallic finish. Meet Paul Revere. All right, finally, the biggest instrument in my collection. This is Jason. Meet Jason. I wonder why. Big, huge, fat, acoustic electric 5-string tuned like Paul Revere. Just an amazing, big, huge instrument. Talk about getting the sound of an acoustic bass. This really does it. This really makes it sound like an upright. An amazing instrument. I called this one Jason or the Preacher Man. And I wanted to show you my wardrobe closet here for what I wear on the street as the traveling troubadour. Now, the first season I went out, starting in September of 2010, I wanted to blend in. So I went with camouflage. And then Collie, if not some wacko, walked into the IHOP here in Carson and took out a lot of people with camouflage on. So the second season out, it just didn't seem right to wear camo anymore. So I went with the colorful Hawaiian shirts, the bright, happy mood Hawaiian shirts. You saw me with those on last year. Now coming up April 1st, the third season on the street of the Traveling Troubadour. Who knows what I'm going to wear? You're just going to have to tune in for that one. Well, we've gone through the perimeter here. Are you ready to go inside the tent and see all the great guitars I have to share with you? Let's do it. Let's go inside. What do you say? Well, here we are inside the belly of the beast, and it's time to show you my collection of guitars here. But first of all, let me show you my amps. Got to have a good amp to make that guitar sound great. What I have on the floor here is 4 of them to choose from. There's the baby, the Vox Mini 3 with a 5-inch speaker. Here's the teenager, the GDEC Junior from Fender. Now we work our way up to the regular GDEC 330, which is the Mama amp, and then the big daddy over here, the Line 6 Spider Jam. Now, so we go from 5-inch to 8-inch to 10-inch to 12-inch, from baby up to papa here. And the great thing about these last three amplifiers is they have built-in recording tracks, built-in playback track, rehearsal tracks, with great bands that I can play along with. And I want to start off one of them here for you, because the first kind of music, the first instruments I'm going to show you are Americana. Now I consider Americana a mix of country, bluegrass, and folk music. Don't you love it? All right, so let's take a look at some of the instruments that we use to recreate this sound. First of all, I'm going to start with the cheapest guitar in my collection, a $99 12-string. Can you believe it? This is by Rogue, and a solid Sitka spruce top, mahogany sides, herringbone. Great features for only $99. Look at these die-cast tuners that are worth at least $100. A great instrument. Now a 12-string, a lot of guys say, well, geez, you gotta put a capo on the darn thing and detune it so it won't warp the neck. With this one, I didn't care. I put extra light gauge strings on it, tuned it up to E, and found out, whoop-de-doo, it sounds wonderful. So I figured that these are the strings I should be playing on all my instruments. Light gauge, extra light gauge strings. They all start at 10. On the acoustics, they go up to 47. On the electrics, they go up to 46. So I start with a 10 gauge string on all my instruments so I can have that same feel of strumming all the way through. Now, the other thing about it is, with this guitar, I've proven you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a great instrument. Here's the way I look at it. Okay, Chris, you can have that one $4,000 guitar, the Martin, you know, with just the one kind of strings on it that, you know, give you that one sound, or for $4,000 you can have $2,200 guitars. So guess what I did? I went with the $2,200 guitar. I never had $4,000 out front for an instrument anyway. So let's start with the next. Let's go with the next instrument I need to show you here. This is a Dreadnought 6-string, acoustic. Just a classic guitar for folk, for country, for anything, basically. Everybody has one of these in their collection. And this is a silver tone. It has the snowflake fret markers on it. Just a great instrument. Gold Grover tuners on it. I only paid $150 for this one. Can you believe it? Oh, God. Meet RFK. Okay, so we've met Teddy on the stairs coming up. You've met JFK, the 12-string, and now you've met RFK. All great dreadnoughts for giving that Americana sound. Well, as you can see, with these two, they didn't come with pickups, so I put pickups in. These are the Woodies by Seymour Duncan. Just sound great. You just plug them right in. Sound super to reproduce the sound of these acoustic instruments. Well, here's one that does have to have a built-in pickup on it, because it's used basically just for acoustic lead guitar. Let me, if I can get it out of here. This is from the Tallman series by Ibanez. It's really neat because it's, like I say, designed just for lead acoustic guitar. See that purple finish? I call this guitar Moby Grape. All right. Next, if you want that Willie Nelson sound, you know, that classical guitar sound, I love this one from Ibanez. I call this Salvador Ibanez. Welcome, meet Salvador Ibanez here. A great classical guitar. It's got a built-in pickup here. Just sounds fantastic. Next, as we continue with the Americana instruments, two hybrid instruments I want to show you. First of all, look at this banjo, a 6-string banjo, so I can still play guitar chords on it. No learning curve on this one. This is the Backwoods 6-string from Dean. And the neat thing about this one, I put a lavalier pickup right inside to pick up the sound of it. This guitar I've nicknamed Dean Ryder. And it's basically, you know, the only instrument that was ever truly developed just in America, the banjo. So this allows me to provide that banjo sound, which is so essential to Americana music. Now, I broke my rule of paying only $200 guitar for this one, and it was well worth it. This is called a Mando guitar. It's made by Phantom. It was developed for Vox by George Harrison. It's actually a mini 12-string, tuned up 2 octaves. So we really get the sound of that mandolin with this instrument, which was really cool. I just love this. Paid almost $700 for it. A Phantom Mando guitar. How cool is that? Well, next let's go from a mini 12-string to a major 12-string. And as we're getting into the electric instruments, I have to show you this phenomenal instrument that I've kept since I bought it in the 70s. I think I paid $400 for this way back then. Today, priceless. It's a Riviera 12-string by Epiphone. Now, Paul Simon has one of these, and it's a red one. But this one, with that honey burst, sunburst on it, I've nicknamed this guitar Tupelo Honey. What a great sound. 12-string. Once again, just tune it, light gauge strings on it. It tunes right up to E. Fantastic. Well, there you have it. There's the sounds for Americana, all these instruments. Are you ready for the next style of music that we're going to look at? It's time to look at the blues. Well, are you ready for some blues? Here we go. A blue guitar for the blues. Can you dig it? This is an Oscar Schmidt copy of Lucille, the guitar made famous by B.B. King, of course. Check this out. Oh, so cool. Actually, I've given this whole guitar a theme. It's all about Lake Tahoe. Keep Tahoe blue. And then for the pick guard, drink Tahoe tap. Then the real message comes through in the back. Drink Tahoe brew. All right, so just a great blues guitar. Fantastic. Next, let's get us some jazz. And this is a deep dish. What they call a deep dish guitar. See how thick, see how deep it is? Oh, just a phenomenal instrument. The Ibanez. And I broke my rule on this one. I spent $2.99 when it first came out. When they first came out, you could get them that cheap. It's just a phenomenal instrument. And I have a name for this one. I call this one Chet Benson. After Chet Atkins, you know, Chet Atkins, the great guitar player, country guitar player, has the Country Gentleman. And, of course, Benson is for George Benson, the great jazz player. So I also call this neck, this guitar, the yellow neck, because look at that distinctive yellow neck that it has. Just a phenomenal jazz guitar from Ibanez Hardcore Series. Well, are you ready to switch from jazz and blues to rock? Let's get into it. Check this out. Okay, let's roll. Let's rock. Here we go. Are you ready to rock? Let's look at the guitars that fit this format. All right. First of all, I got to start with my Fenders, and these are all Fender Squire models. You know, they're a cheaper line, but just great instruments. What can I say? First of all, check this out, a Telecaster, Arctic White from the Affinity series. Oh, just a sweet guitar. And I call this one Leo's Ghost for Leo Fender. And also the other name for this is the White Knight. Just a great instrument for electric guitar. Next, meet the Black Knight. Another from the Squire series, Telecaster Custom. This one has humbucking pickups on it. And basically every guitar collection has to have what they call an instrument that grabs your attention. Look at all the decals on this one. Basically this one, the conversation piece that gets you talking guitars. I love this. You wouldn't believe all the neat decals on this. Check the back here. Elect no sheriff. I love that. Do you recognize the Jägermeister deer here? All right, so this one, the Black Knight, another Telecaster. Well, here's what I call another hybrid here from the Squire series, and this is a neat one. Meet the Bishop. This guitar has coil tap and out of phase. Two neat effects that you can use on a guitar. And look at the pick guard. It's like the P-51 Bomber. So I call this one also, it's called the P-51 Bomber, designed around the P-51 pick guard. So there you have it. There's my three of my Fenders that we've met so far, all named around chess pieces. So we've got the Telecaster, the White Knight, the Tele with humbucking pickups, the Black Knight, and of course the P-51 Bomber or the Bishop over here. So we got the Black Knight, the White Knight, the Bishop. Guess what the name of my Fat Strat Telecaster is? King Arthur. All right. I love this instrument because basically it's the only one I got with a whammy bar. And I love the headstock on this. You know how most Stratocasters, all the tuners are on one line. With this, on both sides, the Grover tuners are on both sides of the instrument. It really makes this an interesting instrument to play. This one I call King Arthur, but it's also Dean Redstone because I got this one from Alan Redstone along the way. Okay. I know if you're a Gibson fan out there, you're saying to yourself, where's the Les Paul? Okay, here it is. A Silvertone copy of a Les Paul that is accurate in every detail. A phenomenal instrument for playing lead guitar. The only guitar that I have with 9-gauge strings to start with. Oh, just a great instrument. Honey Cherry Sunburst. Phenomenal instrument. Actually, I've given this nickname G.W. Poddington. G.W. for George Washington, who chopped down the cherry tree, this cherry finish. And, of course, another one of my favorite beers, Poddingtons. If you've ever had the cream of Manchester, you'll know what I'm talking about. Well, here we go. Let's continue with my collection here. And everyone has to have a travel guitar. This one, oh, perfect size because it fits on any overhead bin for airlines. It looks like a mini Les Paul, doesn't it? That's why I have it here with my collection of Gibsons. But this is actually a Yamaha acoustic electric. I call this Hobo because it goes everywhere with me. Just a great instrument. You plug that thing in, you won't believe the sounds you get from it. Well, let's continue with the rock guitars here. And this, you got to have an SG. This is a copy of a Gibson SG by Silvertone. The thing I like about it is it's got see that light neck in the back? Like most of these guitars, like most of my Fenders are. Just gives me familiarity in playing this thing. Just a great, if you want to play those power chords on heavy metal, this is the guitar for you. I call this one the Red Rocket. Cool. Next, the final guitar in my collection to show you, because this one actually models the sound of all these instruments that you've seen so far, all the guitars so far, including the banjo. From Variax, along comes the Line 6 Variax. Check this out. I can't believe this. It models all the sounds of these great guitars. And the neat thing about it is, if I got to go record somewhere, go do a concert somewhere, and I want to be able to sound like all these instruments, this one does it. And guess what I called this? The mother of all guitars. Just a phenomenal instrument. Well, there you have it. There's my collection. But you know, I've got all these great guitars, and I can only play one at a time. So I want to open up this studio. I want to open up this studio to all you other great musicians out there. Give me a phone call and let's get together, because I'd like to have you come in here. And I mean, look at it. When it gets down to recording, you can only play one guitar at a time. And basically, you know, I'm not proficient on all these instruments. I can pick one up and figure out what I need to use for recording. But gosh, I'm telling you, I could sure use some help here along the way. So, hey, please, this is an open call to all musicians out there. I've met some great guitar players here in Carson, like Tony Brewer, just a great artist, like Joe LeChue, who teaches guitar here in town. I actually took his course. You can never learn enough guitar. But basically, I need help, and I'd like to make this an open call to everybody out there. All you musicians out there, give me a call. My phone number here, my business line, Chris K Productions, 885-8212. Give me a call, and let's get together and do some recording. Well, one more instrument to show you. And this is the most amazing thing. You won't believe this. If there was any doubt that I was over my head with the guitar, this one is it. Check this out. It's a double neck. Can you believe it? It's an Ovation. That plastic back, real thin plastic. What a phenomenal instrument. Just got this one. I paid only 800 bucks for it. And I'm way over my head when it comes to playing this thing. So I need help here. There's the 12 string. There's the 6 string. Oh, somebody who knows how to play this guitar, come and show me how to do it. Somebody, I need help here. All I'm saying is, please, I have all this great equipment and I want to share it with you. So please come and join me along the way. Well, there you have it. There's my collection. And I haven't really even gone into the equipment that I play on the street as a traveling troubadour. No, but you know, that's for a whole different show. For now, I'd like to close with a song for you. And I want to play my smallest instrument that I have here for you. Now, I've already showed you my guitar ukulele. This is made by Yamaha, and what a neat little instrument this is. The size of a baritone uke with 6 strings on it, so I can play it like a guitar. It's tuned up to A. This one I've nicknamed Don Ho. But that's not the one I want to use to close the show. To close the show, I want to use this one. This is a ukulele I just bought from Lahaina Music in Maui. I was so lucky to be able to go to Hawaii in December and to get immersed in the music, and I actually took classes and learned how to play this one song I'm going to do for you to close the show right now. This one from Israel K. That's what I call this guitar. And a classic from The Wizard of Oz called Over the Rainbow. So let me end this show, this musical journey that we've had together, with the smallest instrument I have, the ukulele, and this special song. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that you dreamed of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. Birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh why can't I? If tiny little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh why can't I? Thank you so much. This is Chris K., the Traveling Troubadour, signing off.